If you spent millions of dollars to run an ad during the Super Bowl, would you run that ad only once? Heck no! You'd use that puppy again and again and again to really get your money's worth. Sadly, most business owners I see online and who we work with are putting in countless hours creating more and more content only to forget about what they've already created. Every day, they're burying their awesome content in what I like to call your content graveyard. Today, on this live recording of episode number 284 of the Amplify Your Awesome podcast, we're going to dive into what content repurposing really is, why it's vital for your business, and at the end, I'm going to show you how you can get my help to stop burying your content in your content graveyard. Hey there and welcome. I'm Yong Pratt, also known as Dr. Content, because I help business owners cure what ails their content. Let's start this episode with some vocabulary just so that we are on the same page. You're going to hear two words repeatedly through this episode. They are number one, content, and number two, repurposing. So let's talk about what those are. If you happen to be joining me live, definitely say hello, let me know you're here. I will address your questions at the very end. So number one, content. What is it? Content is the information and communication you create in your business. It could be in the form of text, like blog posts or social media posts, or even a book. Or it could be any video content, any audio content, and any even graphic content you create to represent your business and your brand online. Here at Amplify Your Awesome, we believe that content is important for three reasons. One, to help people get to know, like, and trust you. These days, people need more touch points because there's so much media coming at them all the time. So if we can help people get to know, like, and trust us by putting out content, that's always a good thing. The second reason why it's important is because it helps you to attract the people that are right for your business and repel those who aren't a good fit, right? I know when I first came into the online space, I wanted to please everybody. I never wanted to rock the boat, and kind of my whole life was like that, right? I didn't want to tip the scales. But the more I'm in this online space, the more I realize that sometimes you have to tip the scales one way or another so that we can make sure the right people are coming into our business. And the third reason why content is important to your business is that it demonstrates the transformation that you provide in your business, whether you're a service-based business or a product-based business. When you can demonstrate how other people have been successful using your product or service, that helps people to really get to know, like, and trust you, right? Kind of goes back to number one. So let's talk about number two, repurposing your content. What does that mean? So this word is used as the term repurposing, content repurposing, repurpose my content. There's lots of different iterations, but basically repurposing simply means taking a single piece of content and using it in multiple ways and offering it in different mediums, because not everybody likes to consume information in the same way. Think about the old adage, reduce, reuse, recycle when it comes to your content. It's not just about how we take care of our waste in the world, but it's really about and applicable to all of your content. By repurposing your content, you can reduce the amount of content you have to create. That is a big deal. If you're always creating content, it's hard to focus on the other things in your business that need your attention. So we're reducing the amount of content you actually need to create. We can reuse your content in many different ways. Again, everyone likes to learn differently. While some people like to watch videos and consume content in this medium, other people like to read it. Still others like to see graphics and stories told in that medium. So even though we don't like to consume content in all those different mediums, it's really important that we're helping everyone who wants to work with us really enjoy our content in whatever medium makes sense for them, right? And you can recycle the same exact content when it's done strategically. Sometimes you can repurpose it in its entirety on different platforms. Sometimes you want to take just bits and pieces of that content to share it out, to really sprinkle it out across the interwebs. And the best part about repurposing your content is that so much of it can be automated when you know the right tools to use. So stick around till the very end because I'm going to show you or share with you how you can learn more about this tool and even get my help with your content repurposing. Sound good? Now that we're on the same page, I'm going to come out and make a statement that you may not like. Are you ready? If you're creating content and you are not repurposing it, you are absolutely wasting your time. I'm going to say that again because it's so important to hear this. If you're not repurposing your content, you're wasting your valuable time and money creating it, and you're amassing a huge content graveyard. For most business owners, content creation looks a little something like this. It's a process that I call the content death spiral. At the top of the spiral, you have your brand new shiny content. You're so proud of what you've created. You shout it from the rooftops and you share it like crazy. Then a little time goes by. It could be a week, a couple of weeks, even a month. Then your content starts to descend down the spiral until it finally reaches the very bottom, where it gets buried in your content graveyard. Sending content to your graveyard isn't always an intentional decision, and it isn't inevitable when you commit to repurposing your content. When you repurpose, you are committing to getting the very most out of every piece of content you create. If you're anything like most business owners I work with privately and in my classes, you're probably only scratching the surface of what your content can do for you. That's right. I said what your content can do for you. Let's make a declaration together, shall we? I want you to put your hands on your heart and say this. My content deserves so much more. Let's repeat that. My content deserves so much more. I want you to take this mantra and own it. Next time you sit down to create a piece of content, think about how else you can use that content. What are the possibilities? And I'm here to share that the possibilities are really endless. It really just depends on what you want your content to do for you. I want you to ask yourself some questions. Are you ready? If you're somewhere where you can write this down, maybe press pause after each one, write it down, or definitely come back and re-listen to this episode because it is that important. When you're sitting down to write content or create it in any fashion that you choose, pick whatever's easiest for you, the path of least resistance, right? If going live on videos is great for you, awesome, do that. If writing a blog post makes more sense, do that. If recording audio makes sense, do that. Start with what makes sense for you with the tools you already have, right? I'm going to say those words again and again, starting with what you already have. We don't need to go buy a bunch of new things to get started right now in repurposing. We can start with what we have and we can scale when it makes sense, right? So ask yourself these questions. Could my blogs or series of blogs get turned into a book? Well, that is exactly how I created my first book. I thought I was cheating. I thought I was doing it wrong because it seemed way too easy. I had written a series of 10 or so blog posts and then really wanted to turn that into a book that I could give to the parents at my performing arts school because it was really going to guide them on their journey with working with us. And I discovered later on that the message in this book really was not just applicable to my local area and my local academy, it was really applicable to parents across the globe. So that's what I did, and that's what you can do too. You can ask yourself, could my videos become a podcast? Absolutely. This is a live recording of a podcast episode. Once I am done with this episode, I have some automations in place with some tools that I use to turn it into audio automatically. I don't have to touch it, I don't have to put it into any other software. It can happen automatically. So many people tell me they want to create a podcast, and when I propose this idea of turning their video content in audio, they kind of back up and say, you know what? No, that's not for me. And that's okay. I'm just here painting this picture for you because the possibilities are really endless. All right, so here's another question to ask yourself. Could my podcast audios get turned into videos? Now I know that seems backwards probably. However, the same tool that I use to extract the audio from this video is the same tool that I can use to actually turn my podcast audios into video. And it looks like one of those waveform videos where there's a still image in the background and then there's a little dynamic piece that oscillates up and down or side to side. And it looks like you're listening to audio. So that's a waveform video. If and when you visit my YouTube channel, you can see examples of what a waveform video looks like. And again, it happens automatically, which is even better, right? I know that every time I go live on video, every time I publish an audio episode, I'm creating multiple pieces of video and audio content automatically. And that's a huge time saver right there. I'll be sure to link up my YouTube channel on today's show notes at yongpratt.com/284 so you can see some examples of what turning audio into video looks like. Because for some people, they tell me they don't really get the imagery, so I will make sure that I link that up so you can take a look for yourself and see if that makes sense. So those are just 3 questions to ask yourself. You could ask yourself so many more questions when it comes to repurposing your content because the possibilities are endless. And another thing you could ask yourself is, can I take a whole video or a whole audio and chop it up into tiny pieces? And the answer is yes. We do that every single week for ourselves and for our clients to make sure that we're maximizing every single piece of their content. And honestly, at this stage in my business, I really don't create any content unless I know specifically that I can use it in at least a half dozen other ways, and usually more. So let me ask you this. How would your business look if you could take every single piece of content you created and repurpose it? Would it free up time for you to do more of what you love? Would it save you money by allowing you to serve more clients instead of always needing to create new content? Would it alleviate the stress and anxiety you may feel about what to post on social media every day? I know this is a huge one for me, and this piece alone saves me tons of time because I'm not always going to look for the next calendar or download another list of ideas. I have my own content that I can use and share in lots of different ways. So, my friends, if you answered yes to any of those questions, I have an invitation for you. I get asked all the time what tools I use for content repurposing, how to get started, how to automate the process even. And because it's summer, and I know you have important family bonding to do, and you'd rather do that than focus all your time on creating more and more content, here's what I've created for you. It's the Content Repurposing Quick Start workshop. Now, quick start is a key because I want it to be fast and actionable. In this brand new 90-minute workshop that is going to be hands-on, do the work side by side with me workshop, you'll literally walk away with at least one video or one audio content piece repurposed into something new. How awesome would that be? What if you brought one video to this workshop, and by the end, we turned that video into audio, and it was done automatically? How cool would that be? And that's just the tip of the iceberg as well. And if you're someone who has mostly text content, this is also for you because I'm going to show you how you can quickly turn your text content into audio or video. How does that sound? In this workshop, I'm going to walk you through how to set up my favorite tool, repurpose.io, so that the content you already have, that content that is currently living in your content graveyard, sees the light of day again. How is that for awesome? When I work one-on-one with clients, they pay me anywhere from $300 at the very low end all the way up to have me help them set up this system so they can automate their content repurposing, or to help them co-craft a strategy that works for their business. Because here's what I can tell you. Content repurposing is not one size fits all. What works for one business may not work for another, and vice versa. When you go into content repurposing, it's very strategic because your content needs to serve you and your business. Thinking about, again, what can your content do for you? Can it help support a launch? Can it help support a class you're offering? We always want our content to be working for us. So when it comes to repurposing it, we also don't want a cookie cutter, one size fits all, because we need to make sure it works for our business. And in this workshop, we're going to talk about how it can work for your business. In this content repurposing workshop, you'll get access to me for a full 90 minutes. You'll set up repurpose.io and turn your current video or audio content into more awesomeness that you can use immediately. That's key. Once you've repurposed it, you can literally use it right then and there. And if we have time on the workshop, we will turn on that content and make it live on your social feeds, because that's where everything comes together. It's one thing to set up a system, but it's another entirely to make that system work for you, right? And I want to share this too. You can save your seat for the workshop for only $27. I know, it's a total steal. My mentors and my biz besties told me that $27 was way too low for the immense value in this workshop. But here's what I want to tell you. I want to see your business succeed, and I want to see you amplify your awesome in a time when more and more business owners are closing their doors because they're not sure how to connect with their dream clients, right? And the way we do it is through our content. And when we get strategic about creating content and even more strategic about repurposing it, that's where the magic begins. So my friends, it's time to breathe new life into your content. It's time to resurrect pieces from your content graveyard so that they see the light of day again, because if you created it once, chances are people need to see it. They're waiting for your content to show up in their feeds at the right time, and we can do that by repurposing it strategically. It's time to get started repurposing your content today with a Content Repurposing Quick Start workshop, where you'll get my help to repurpose and automate the content you already have. It really is time for more people to see your content and see the value in the transformations that you and your business provide. If you're ready to quick start your content repurposing for only $27, just pop the word me under this video and I'll reach out to you personally to share how you can save your seat. Now, this workshop is going to be held live, and if you can't make it live, you will get access to the recording. It's going to be held on Wednesday, July 8th. Now, if you're on my email list, you may have read that I was going to offer this workshop on July 1st. However, after I thought about it a little more, I thought, what the heck? I must be crazy because my oldest daughter has her birthday on the 2nd. And of course, there's always last minute party planning, last minute prep that needs to go into celebrating the big day. So I wanted to take that pressure off myself, give me a little space, give my family a little space so we can celebrate properly. So the workshop is going to be on Wednesday, July 8th. I look forward to working with you and magically turning every single piece of content you create going forward, plus all that content currently sitting in your content graveyard, by learning how to repurpose it. Again, to save your seat, just type me right there, and I'm going to reach out to you personally because I want this to be the start of an exciting, fun interaction and relationship together, because that's what I love most about being in business. Connecting to other people, connecting to them, helping them share their message in a bigger way, helping them to really amplify their awesome. I want to help you amplify your awesome by learning how to get started or scale your repurposing efforts. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this live recording of episode number 284 of the Amplify Your Awesome podcast. I'm your host, Yong Pratt, also known as Dr. Content, and I'm here to help you cure what ails your content. And if your content is currently sitting in a content graveyard, let's change that. Grab a seat in the Content Repurposing Quick Start workshop, and I look forward to seeing you then. Cheers, my friends.